too.
All right, I am calling the Village of Cross Plains Board of Trustees meeting of August 10th, 2026 to order. Roll call, please.
Trustee Henry.
Here.
Trustee Brocha. Trustee Borcar. Here. Trustee Borland.
Here.
Trustee Paul Mikowski.
Here.
Trustee Calvater.
Here.
And Bo.
Here. Please stand for a pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we're at public comment. This is an opportunity for anyone to address the village board on any issue. Please observe the time limit of 3 minutes. While the village board encourages input from residents, it may not discuss or act on any issue that is not duly noticed on the agenda. I don't see anybody here.
And there's nobody online either.
Okay. Go to the consent agenda. Upon request of any trustee, any item may be removed from the consent agenda for separate consideration under general business. Does anybody have anything they'd like to separate? Hearing nothing, do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I will second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Report of village officer. I do not have anything at this time. Vice President. Other trustees. Village administrator.
I have a few things. So first one, I just want to keep providing an update on those vacant MG&E poles on Bear Street. So Town and Country continues to make calls to Spectrum to move their service off of the old poles, so those can be removed. I'll continue to update as I have more information. Also wanted to let everyone know that our village attorney, Paul Johnson, has announced his retirement. So his last day is November 13th. I've started reaching out and gathering information as we think about next steps, but there'll be something coming on a forthcoming agenda. And then I also have just a reminder that Board of Review is scheduled for September 16th at 5 o'clock. So if residents missed open book last week, they can reach out to our assessors. They can call or email before that date, but it is important that they would reach out sooner than later.
Yeah, like how soon do they have to reach before the 16th? You said sooner than later.
Yeah.
48 hours, didn't it, in the flyer?
Oh, is that what it says?
Yeah.
They do it a lot sooner.
Right. So 48 hours ahead of that Board of Review meeting, last possible moment you could reach out to them. So
you would have to, if you wanna have a meeting on board review, you have to submit paperwork to me 48 hours ahead. So you should be contacting the assessor before then to try to work something out, because then if you don't get your issues resolved,
Then you can submit the paperwork.
then you have to submit the paperwork to me to get on the board review. Period.
Okay.
Thanks for that clarification.
Okay.
and then the only other thing I have is primary election is tomorrow at the library. And I wanted to thank Bobby for a lot of her work lately. It's been a busy season getting us ready for the election, getting budget ready, working with the assessors and everything. So just wanted to tell her how much we appreciate her.
All right, village department heads, anybody? All righty, we'll go to general business then. First one, discussion and possible action regarding final pay request for number 2 for the 2025 street projects.
Yeah, I can take this one, and I have Evan from Town and Country on here too. So this is back from the 2025 street rehab and maintenance project. So back in December, on December 15th, we approved, the village board approved final pay request number 1 and the amount of $311,453.96. And then number 2 represents payment for remaining asphalt patching that was due to water main breaks that occurred. So this is the amount of $55,435.72.
Do I have a motion?
Question first.
Oh, okay, can you do it now or discussion? Go ahead.
That line 9, the 14,000, what was that again?
Yeah, so this one is the remaining balance. So this I think, and I'll have Evan chime in too. So it's like the remaining balance. It's not necessarily something we would have to pay, but is remaining with the contract that we awarded. Evan,
Yep, I think you nailed it. So the original contract price, item number 1, that included supplemental bid items. And because it's a unit price contract, you only pay for the actual work that was done. So there are a few line items that we try to get as close as we can on how many tons of asphalt and how many lineal feet of sidewalk and all of those sort of things. If we overestimate or underestimate, you pay more or less on any given line item. So what that $14,000 results in is essentially being 14,000 under that original contract price. It is not owed. It's just money that will not be paid unless you guys were to do patching in 2027 under this contract, because there is supplemental bid items for that.
That does get to my question,
Go ahead.
which was S6 and S7 on the document. There's 2027 asphalt patching. So we haven't paid for that yet.
Those items were specifically to try and get a unit price, so that you have somebody, air quotes, under contract to call and come do patching all in one shot instead of doing piecemeal type patching. I'll have to defer to Matt and Brian on if those 27 patching numbers are going to be used or if you're going to look for a different contractor moving forward. But at the time of bidding back in July of 25, we asked for what's your price per square yard of asphalt in 26 and price for square yard of asphalt in 27. And if you were to use 27 numbers, it would come out of that 14,000 remaining, and presumably you'd go over the contract price at that point, because only 1 square yard is worth, or excuse me, 200 square yards is worth $12,000. So depending on how the pricing and the market sits, I don't know if those will be used, but that's why they were requested.
No, I think that's good. So we don't currently have
It's
plans, but
correct.
We
So
could
if through the
swoop it in.
winter, there's issues and we need it, we can get it fixed right away in the spring instead of waiting till we have like a bundle with a road project at the end of the year.
okay.
Yeah, and that's how we used to do it. We would wait till we did a road project and then we do all the fixing. We got complaints, so people want them, sometimes those gravel would be for a year. You know, so we've got it, so we fix them sooner.
Yeah, I think it worked out really well this year with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right,
I make a motion that we approve the final pay request number 2 for 2025 street projects.
all right, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, a motion and a second, any discussion?
We don't need the amount in the motion, do we? No.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same, so moved. Number 2, discussion or possible action regarding the resolution authorizing the issuance and sale of $4,330,000 in general obligation promissory note series 2026A. Yeah, I know, you wanna say anything, financial director?
No, I was gonna let you
You got what?
defer to
Oh,
Ariana, no.
okay, oh, I didn't know she was on, okay, so great,
Good evening. Are you able to hear me okay?
yes.
Wonderful. So we're here tonight to really discuss the results. We did go out to bid today and received 3 bidders. Do you all have a copy of the sale day report that I emailed over?
They all have one in front of them, and then I can pull it up here on this screen as well.
Okay, that's great. I'll really just hit on the executive summary, which is on page 1. I'm happy to go through any of the additional tables, but just as a reminder, this was for issuance of general obligation notes to fund the village's 2026 CIP. The winning bidder was Bayard with a true interest cost of about 3.95%. So this was lower than the pre-sale estimate we had discussed. Our pre-sale estimate was about 4.3%. So great results. And we got under 4%. Additionally, it was offered with a reoffering premium, which allowed us to downsize the issue from $4.33 million to $4.155 million. So ultimately, that is the par amount that you're looking to award tonight. In total, as a result of the reoffering premium as well as the interest savings, in total, principal and interest is about $157,000 less than what you saw in the pre-sale estimate last month. So with that, we were able to put a portion of the downsizing amount towards the refunding, which is where you'll see a bulk of the savings. So table 6, I believe it is attached, and that shows that refunding analysis savings. Otherwise, all of the tables attached are the same ones that you saw at the pre-sale meeting, just with the updated numbers based on the results of the sale today. So are there any questions, or are there any of the tables in particular that you would like me to walk through? Happy to do so if desired.
Anybody? It does not look that way.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the work.
Absolutely.
All right, do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion to accept Baird. Do I want me to say Baird?
No, I would say to the resolution authorizing the issuance and sale.
Sale of 4.330. General application promissory note series 20268.
No, second.
All right, I have a motion and second discussion.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
I guess my question is, I see that you had the reoffer on there, so it brings down the refinance, but we're actually getting $4.3 million that we can pay off the whole entire refinance. Is that correct?
A portion of it is being used to downsize the refunding. So the refunding specifically is being downsized by $120,000. There's other costs that the reoffering premium go towards, including the bond insurance and the underwriter's discount, which that's paid first, and the residual is going to downsize the refunding. So that's how the refunding is able to increase that savings so much from what you saw at the pre-sale.
Okay, what's your concern with that?
I guess I don't. Okay. Okay, so then I guess my question is how much are we actually going to get in the sale? Are we getting $4.3 million?
You'll be getting, so the purchase price was about $4.4 million. We'll be preparing a closing memo that'll break down exactly the proceeds that you'll be receiving and what exactly it has to go to. At closing, a portion of the proceeds will go to pay the cost of issuance before you'll receive the residual.
Okay. It's just an extra loop in there that I'm just making sure because we're doing the refinance, I'm just wondering what the actual amount that we're getting. I know the refunding is reducing that, but we're actually gonna get a chunk of money, so we have enough money to do the refinance and have everything else we wanna do is what my concern is with the refunding goes just for reduction. And
There'll still be enough to pay for the other portions as well. All of the new money portions are factored into that.
Right. See, that's like you kind of get what I'm saying. Like even though the refunding is reducing, it's going to reduce the internal cost, but we're getting all the money needed to do the refinancing is like to pay off the debt that we're closing.
Correct.
Yeah, that's where it's just trying to understand.
Yep. And the resolution that's in the packet is a draft. As you can see, the actual resolution is the $4.155 million, just to clarify that. And Carly, I think that's the one that you were emailed from Bridget Quarles today, so that's the one that will actually need the signature on.
Yep, that's the one I have printed.
Perfect.
Any other questions or discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. All right. Discussion and possible action regarding new village hall and police department. Start with one.
All right. So I always
Numeral one.
Perfect. I always just provide my construction update, first meeting of the month. So I have my memo here. Biggest thing, as far as construction, they're really working on making the building weather tight and focusing on interior construction and exterior finishes. So they've started to install the stone masonry on the back of the building. So that's starting to come in and looks very, very nice. And then they've also completed the interior framing, installed stairs, and then continue on mechanical, electrical, and plumbing rough-ins. And then they also finished the roof installation. So it makes the building then weather tight. And they are continuing to prepare for veneer, metal flashing, and everything on the exterior. So that's my construction update. As far as upcoming other items, so obviously the last meeting, the village board awarded the AV of the audiovisual contract to CEC out of Green Bay. So security bids were rejected, and Wold has put all of the bid documents together, and those are available now to allow for new bids. That bid opening will be on August 20th at 2:00, in hopes that a bid can be awarded at the August 24th meeting.
And I'm just giving you kind of a heads up. We've run into some concerns with the construction of the building. So I called a meeting with Wald, because it's really the architects that the problems are. And we had a pretty good discussion, with them. I aired my concerns, and we'll see, actually the last Tuesday was the first meeting we didn't have a problem come up. So that was kind of a relief. We have talked with our attorney on options on if some of the charges are charged to us, on how we can deal with them. So hopefully that's not gonna come, but if it does, we have a strategy and legal advice on how to deal with that.
All right, we can go right into number 2. That's all right. Financial update. Bobby, do you wanna?
So I don't think that the revenues have changed since last month. This does not include the money that was awarded today, obviously, so that'll be on the next update. We'll show that income coming in. And then the expenditures, the construction contract, this does not include the pay app that's on the agenda tonight either, and I don't know that anything else really has come in other than the last pay app. We're still ordering all the rest area stuff for the grant. Now it's back to looking at garbage cans. Sorry, I said no earlier, so. Are there any questions?
All right. On to number 3, janitorial services request for proposals. So this was one that had come up at our department head meetings, where we have been discussing, all of the implications of the new village hall and police department. So we've just been discussing how janitorial services will be handled once a new building opens. And as part of those conversations, we also looked at janitorial needs across other village facilities. For instance, the library has used the same contracted custodian for a long time. And then public facilities does not currently have dedicated janitorial services. So we thought this would be a good opportunity to just kind of combine the needs of Village Hall, police, library, and public facilities buildings into one RFP, and just kind of see what services and pricing are available to do all of them. This would be for proposals for services at all 4 facilities, but would still allow us flexibility in how the services would ultimately be awarded. Did you have a question right off the
Yeah,
bat, Jay?
you said 4, but you named 3, Village Hall.
Oh, I was just including Village Hall, Police Department, Library, Public Facilities.
Oh, well, wouldn't we combine police and village since they're in the same building?
Probably like, oh, but well. Like, recently, we just started having the same contractor for upstairs and downstairs, so the police always used to be on a separate cleaning person than we had. But yes, the idea is to get it this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess I would rather, I'd rather have that as a combined one. I think you get a better price than if you split them. So I think it should be Village Hall, Police, Library, and Facilities.
And that's totally fine. That's the kind of feedback we're looking for.
Yeah, no, I'm just,
It's 4 departments, 3 go.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can say Parks and Rec is part of Village Hall Administration. So.
Yeah, so basically the idea, like we said, just to kind of, see what we could get. Oh no.
Don't be pulling mine off. Good, all right.
Okay. So we put a draft RFP together that includes janitorial services for all of the facilities that we talked about. Proposed frequency varies by facility, with like library cleaned 5 days a week and other facilities probably once a week, just based on the traffic flow in those areas. And then we said that the selected contractor would provide labor, equipment, cleaning supplies, and other resources needed to complete the work. And then we'd provide restroom supplies, obviously, like toilet paper, paper towels, soap, things of that nature. And then we just threw in some proposed dates of issuing an RFP by September 3rd, with proposals due October 7th, and then awarding a contract on October 12th, with services to begin approximately December 1st. So very much a draft RFP, so just looking for feedback that you have.
So do you have it where they have to bid on all 3? Can a company say, let's say they have library at one price, Village Hall at one price,
Yeah,
facility, are we able to pick and choose?
that's, I think, what we're
I believe it's.
thinking. That's an option, yeah. That they can choose just to bid on the Village Hall
Okay,
and Police Department,
or just.
or just the library, yeah.
Okay.
But we just kind of wanted to put it all out there to see what we'd get.
No, I don't know. I don't wanna make it where we eliminate probably some of the less expensive options because.
They can't do it.
It's too, yeah, they don't have a crew of 6 people.
Mhm.
Sarah?
Did you have somewhere in there about like the square footage? Oh, it is.
It's in- yeah, it is in
Yep,
here.
there's her.
Yep, right here. Any other thoughts or questions? We also said that they could have that there's a walkthrough option too, if they want to come and see the space.
And I don't know if it needs to be in there of people automatically, obviously. The people who are gonna clean the police department will need to be
Back in.
checked, and generally they don't allow. You have restrictions on who you would not allow. Like,
Yep, that's all in there, that, in the police, they have to be escorted. Like, they can only clean the police department when staff is there.
but do they have something where?
Background check.
Yeah, here we have it right here. Background checks required for all employees. Police department cleaning only during staffed hours. Possessing a photo ID. Security may require an escort.
All right,
So the reason this a reason this also came up was when we were discussing cleaning. We thought maybe if these come in really high, that maybe would be beneficial that we actually have it's a staff member that takes care of this stuff rather than contracting it out, so just whatever, put that out there. That might be an option we, could consider us. If these all come in really high and we think we could hire a person to, work 30 hours a week or however many. And that way too, like, they can do it when we need it, or like an emergency thing, if there's a big spill, like. Clean it up, where they can, help with changing light bulbs and just kind of light maintenance stuff. Out there, is that something that we discussed also?
All right, did you need action on this at all?
I don't think so. I mean, just if everyone feels comfortable with us preparing this and issuing it,
I would, can we
or we could make some
call it an
edits.
RFQ or an RFP?
We called it an RFP.
I probably would do an RFQ so people don't think we're gonna award it necessarily.
With an RFQ, do they provide a price though?
Yeah, it's a quote.
I thought it was a qualification. So they're just saying that they were qualified for our program.
Oh,
I could be wrong. I
no,
thought that was-
yeah, I always thought it was a quote. Well,
Qualification.
qualification,
Let me just get a,
okay,
yeah, we're.
yeah, that doesn't make sense.
So it can also make requests for qualification.
Yep, it can be both.
Okay.
Request for
'cause that's how we
qualifications
always-
or a request for quote.
Yeah, that's.
Um,
I don't wanna mislead people,
mhm.
I
that
think
all,
we just language that said we might not award it at all, like we can.
We did have that in
piecemeal
here.
Or not award it at all.
and it's also, people put more time into a bid than they do a quote.
Mhm.
I don't know, what does other people feel?
So if it was an RFQ, like what, we would redo the whole document then, like, I don't know.
No, you just call it something different. The difference is what you're gonna get back is more of, hey, this is the price of it, they're not gonna break everything down, and that's what we're kind of. I like I say, I'm just throwing that
Sure.
out. I don't want people, businesses putting a tremendous amount of time in on something that is real iffy. I mean, I'm hearing you say that you might look to hire staff. so
Right.
I-
I mean,
It
we
seems to
do,
me you're collecting data, not actually.
yeah,
Yeah. That's kind of how I'm reading this, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you are looking for bids.
yeah, just based on a quick Google search, the difference is an RFP asks vendors how they will solve a complex problem or provide a service. And an RFQ asks pre-qualified vendors for exact pricing. Well, I guess it's a request for quotation.
Yeah,
So,
just throwing it out.
yeah, I mean,
there.
either could work. I mean,
Well, yeah, I'm not.
absolutely.
I'm looking more of what you're trying to
But-
collect.
But then if we did the RFP though, and there were low bids that we'd consider, then we'd be able to just act on that. Versus if we were to do an
That's the thing, I'm
RFQ, it
trying to
would be a
figure
little
out
different.
where are you at with this, because if you're looking to put this into the
Mhm.
27 budget, then yeah.
Mhm.
But if you're looking at this to compare a staff person,
Right,
then no, I wouldn't do bids.
sure.
That's not what I don't know what you really want your collection for. Are you looking to hire somebody?
Well, we're gonna need someone to clean the new.
Well, I understand that, but is that what this is intended to do?
That was our initial discussion, yes, was to hire an employee, and we figured that we would need data to say, is it a savings or not? To hire a person versus hiring a company.
So then maybe an RFQ is the right
I think you need to
Thing
do
to
an
do.
FP because it's like, this isn't like a commodity thing. It's not like you're buying a truck or something, like you're buying a cleaning plan. I mean, we have in there details about, like, having ID and being escorted and you would clean during business hours,
Right.
presumably if for the police department, if you needed a
Mhm.
staff escort, but maybe the other time, the library would be done after hours. So I think we're really asking for more than a quote. I think we're asking, like, I know it doesn't sound that complex, but we have a complex problem. We have all these buildings that need to be cleaned. They have different needs.
Mhm.
I think that means RFP, but
That's
No,
what I have
like I
here.
said, I can go with either one. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to figure intent here on what you're trying to
Mhm.
collect. And again, is it really, I always thought it was a request for pricing, but maybe not.
and that's.
Oh, go ahead, Judd.
My only question was, you said December 1st. I feel like could it be December 1st or January 1st? I feel like some companies that late in the year not really wanting to start services.
I think I think the building's supposed to
A
open
new building in November,
Yeah.
and then you've got somebody to clean it, obviously.
in December, but
That was, yeah, what we were thinking, but it'll probably be pretty clean for the first month, I'm hoping.
well, yeah,
But-
that's if we get open.
Yeah,
and then
it all depends
you
on
got
when,
the holidays, but you do have a lot, it's winter, so things get dirty,
yep, with all the
quickly.
salt and everything.
salt and everything, so.
I mean, otherwise we could say like, yes, the building will be ready this date, but we're not actually planning to move it, start services in there till. after
Well,
this.
see, that's the other thing, I don't know what date you guys are actually opening the building. I mean,
We don't either.
I mean, I wonder if in the beginning you could get like temporary support. When you do a quick, like, oh, we need someone, could we quick get somebody to,
Well, I think if we're looking at this, we're looking for a 2027 crew contract, right?
Right,
And quite frankly, we can do it. I have a hard time believing we are going to be open that new building before January 1st. Cause it can be complete, but to move everything in, to get everything set up, it just takes a tremendous amount of time. And construction is still saying that they're gonna be done by Thanksgiving, but we haven't even figured in how we're gonna set the furniture up, when that's going in.
Mhm.
And the delivery of a lot of other things, the shelving units and.
and all of
everything
the
that you-
technology
And
stuff.
technology and
That's being
stuff.
solved.
Well, technology, I would hope would be all set up. You know,
Oh.
you move your laptop and just plug it in.
Well, I
That's
mean,
what-
I know, but the AV and security,
Oh, yeah,
All
that's what I was talking about.
Figured out over there.
yeah, so I think we're good with I would make this a January 1st thing.
Okay.
I don't think we need to worry about, again, because they're gonna wanna be paid December 1st, so we'll just say in 2027. And hopefully we'll be safe with that.
I would think if we awarded a contract and we're just being like, hey, we need you to come clean bathrooms, like, before, like. Like if we did move in before the first.
I.
Yeah.
And it's the holiday time period where
Yeah,
a lot of
Just a
people
crazy
are
time.
off, yeah. And I take it the library and us have service here through the end of the year, right? So, we should.
yeah, and maybe those providers would help us out if we needed
I was
them.
gonna say, I don't think our building's on a contract really. The libraries is what, 2006?
yeah, this is just a contract.
Right, and library and facilities, that doesn't matter,
Mhm.
so.
It's more so the new building, yep. Right. Thanks for your feedback. All right. And then we'll move on to pay app number 8. So this is the most recent payment application to Brickell Brothers in the amount of $916,958.81. And just showing that it's the same number that they
Do I
had.
have a motion?
I will make the motion to approve the payment of $916,958.81 to Ripple Brothers.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion, second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same, removed. Number 4, discussion regarding financing options for village water utility project. So you all saw the memo that I wrote you, and again, as I mentioned the meeting before, we've got a lot of pieces this year to put together how the whole financial picture of the village is going. So this is just one piece and possible options of that one piece. So I just want to quickly go through it. We're not going to do any voting or make any decision on it. I just really wanted to show the different ways of impacting the water utility. As you remember, our water utility is not in the best financial shape. If you remember Ellers, our debt ratio is 0.49 and they want it to be at 1, they recommend, so we're halfway there, and the sewer utilities at 3.1, which is 3 times what they're just to give you a comparison of our utilities. So option and the data information is there just to show you what numbers I was using, so anybody can check the work on this. I'm not gonna go through it because you guys can read. So option 1 basically takes the whole amount and then takes 250,000 from fund balance to lower the amount that needs to be borrowed. You can see the impact that has on it. And I originally did it with just using the revenues from meters, but Bobby thought we should use the revenues not only from meters, but also fire protection, because I guess it's a practice that PSC does it across the board. So if you add the revenue of fire protection, then you see what the percentages are. As you can see, the dollar amount that we need to pay for the loan doesn't change, but because you're adding $285,000 of revenue, it goes down that way. And option 2 is where you do the same thing, reduce it by 250,000, but you shift the cost of the Park Street water costs to the sewer utility, which again brings down the amount that water has to borrow by $1 million. And again, you can see the percentages there and the dollar amounts, because again, we're borrowing less, so it goes down. Throw in fire protection revenues, then you can see what the numbers are. Now, option 3 takes into consideration the 250 from the fund balance, shifting Park Street over, and then it's also shifting 30,000 of water administration salaries against the cost of your payment. So right now in water utility is very similar with sewer. 25% of Carly's salary, part of Bobby's salary, part of Renee's. I kept Becky's part that does the reading of the meters. I kept that out, and then she also has others. It adds up to about $61,000. So I reduced it by 30,000, and what that would do is I'm not really reducing the expense. I'm moving the expense back to where I think it probably more belongs, and that's under the general budget. So the payments actually drop by the 30,000, because now you're not paying that cost, you can pay the cost of the borrowing, and that's kind of what happens. On the Park Street thing, we had it, Brian says that's a fairly common thing that other villages and cities do because of how things are set up. In this, of laying that, so I don't think we're going to get into any trouble. It's done before, it's just again, for shifting. The true thing is water should pay for water and that, but in this case, we're shifting it over because the main purpose of that is the sewer lines on Park Street. The shifting of the 30,000, we probably can't do next year. It's on next thing on the agenda is talking about the TID. It looks like that revenue from TID will not come into play until probably 2028. But again, this water project, we're talking about the next 2-3 years, so it's still something that can be applied if we choose to do that. Just so there's total openness to this, it probably was done in the past to relieve the levy limit. That's probably why they shifted salaries to utilities, because then it doesn't go against the levy limit. If we're gonna have a huge increase in levy limit, is it time to move that stuff back? That'll be a decision we'll have to make later on, but just so you know, that is kind of the piece for where we sit for water utility. And of course, I'll do something very similar with sewer once that becomes a play. But I'm waiting for, as you remember, 18 months ago, we gave Town and Country funds to put together a 20-year sewer plant strategic plan. So I'm waiting for that before we can put that piece of the puzzle into it. I think we have something now from Ellers tonight that we can really seriously look at the debt service piece of that. So are there any questions on this at all?
If you move the water cost to sewer, that's $1 million, 35, what does that do to our ratio in sewer?
Well, this is gonna be up to you. We could pay cash if we want. We easily have $2.4 million sitting in the sewer. Do you remember what your number was, revenues over expenses for second quarter? The sewer, I calculated a little over 300,000. We were bringing in over expenses. So sewer, sewer would be able to handle this, but we have to see what the needs of the sewer plant is. Because we're sitting on, minimum of 3 accounts, all over 700,000. And the thing that we have to seriously be looking at is we have to be doing something with those connection fees we've been collecting for 20 years. That is supposed to go back to improving the sewer plant and the sewer mains, and we're just building this thing. So, to me, we have, that is one of the things. We have another 700,000 that is for replacement of parts to the sewer plant. And that is available, that is considered a restricted fund. Cause it's tied to the borrowing that we have with DNR, but that's becoming very small. And then we have 712,000 in cash. So we have, I'm not worried about just this, but I have to see what that report is. That answers your question. Cameron,
Would it be helpful to? I don't know, maybe not, but like talk about what. The ideal state is before we're trying to match it to a problem.
Oh, yeah, what is that?
Said another way,
yeah,
forget about Park Street, forget about Finnis, forget about all this stuff, like. Just the Eller report, like, we're taking in probably too much on sewage and not enough on water. Like, is there some sort of like balancing that we should be talking about there as a goal, and then when we fit in the problem, figure out how it
and
maps there.
And that's kind of where, here's the problem with that. Unfortunately, we don't control water. We have to go through PSC.
Yep.
So they dictate on that. If you remember, because the current sewer plant debt was paid, we reduced sewer rates by 15%.
Yep.
So that's always an option, but and that was originally what the plan, what I was thinking of is reducing sewer rates, increasing water rates, and trying to have a balance. And then Brian came up with this idea, saying, here's what other communities do, and that would be a lot simpler.
I'm sorry, what was the Brian? Oh, I'm sorry, Burquest.
Yeah,
I thought we were talking about old Brian, and I was like,
Oh,
what
no,
does he have
no.
to do with anything right now? Okay.
so
okay.
cause that was originally what my thought was in the numbers I was doing. But he suggested this is what how other communities did, and it is much cleaner. It is much cleaner. But again, that's all good. It all needs, again, I think this piece is here. I think you clearly have an idea of what the cost of water is gonna be moving forward with these projects. Now we put together the piece for the sewer and see what that looks like, and then that is certain, always can be an option. The problem is, we don't have control over the water. Go ahead.
I was saying because I guess my concern with option 3 is it kind of appears that we're a little bit taking advantage of the fact that sewage has the overage that it has, and then sewer rates don't come down in this situation because we start to use that overage to pay for these big projects instead. Which, I mean, I understand
Yeah, no, you're right.
you gotta pay for them somehow, like. I
Right,
totally get
exactly.
that, but
It's
then-
it's what pocket you wanna take it out.
Yeah, I'm saying, and then, so I think that was getting maybe back to my
But-
original things, like philosophically. Like, where do we ideally wanna be taking from, and then we
Well,
try to.
I have two members that have made it very clear they don't wanna increase water rates, so I'm coming up with ways to reduce that problem.
No,
And we have one that is healthy, why not compensate? There are a number of ways of doing it, you're right, we could drop it down again. But like I say, I'm throwing these things out
Yep.
here for people to think about.
If I'm one of them, my chief concern is that the sewage rate is too high. Like, water bills are too high, but I'm not stuck on like the water rate, like I mean, obviously, no one wants water bills to go up more, but like. The really, really egregious part of the water bills is our sewage rates, it's way, way high compared to other municipalities and all that stuff. Now, water is a little low, so I mean that, and again, I know we don't control that, but like, anyway, I don't know.
Well, again, this is not a decision-making thing. I'm trying to give options out there because we can't just keep saying yes without figuring out how we're gonna pay it and what the impact is. So now people can check my numbers, and if my numbers aren't right and you think they're lower and stuff, I'm more than. Like I say, anybody can take a shot. I don't get offended if you say, hey, Jay, you did this wrong or you did that wrong. I'm pretty confident that these are the numbers, and it's Bobby.
I'll just say I double checked what you did and I was able to come to the same calculations, like, is able to figure out how you came to the numbers. So I don't think, I mean, they're estimates, right?
Yeah.
It's not like this is exactly what's gonna happen, but I was comfortable with your.
Yeah, and everybody sees the data that I used and what I did. All right, so keep this in mind. Go ahead, Michael.
I was just gonna say, yeah, we need to see what that report is that Evan's putting together with the sewer department, and see what those costs are gonna be, and see how much of this $2 million that's in the sewer is available, how much how much is gonna be left after the drawdown of those upgrades.
Right. No, I agree. Like I say, I'm not suggest what option we go for. I just wanted to make sure you saw, and hopefully if other people have creative ways of doing it, I'm all open. These are the ones that I came up with. Cameron?
And then, I mean, just the other thing I'm thinking about, I mean, I understand you gotta pay for something, I mean, but we just borrowed 4.1 million, right? For Village
Yeah.
Hall. I think the lowest option here is option 3, if I remember correctly, where you're still borrowing 4.2 million, right? Yeah. Yeah,
Two.
so, so there is probably a discussion on what are the most important.
And you gotta check, we're probably not gonna borrow all that.
Sure.
It's gonna come over, spread over the year. Yeah.
Just like this one, I know, but
Yes.
Village Hall is expensive.
It is, yes, we'll be talking about that a lot next meeting. Matt, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, and maybe Evan can help me on this as well. I just wanted to remind the board of the stress that Park Street infrastructure puts on the sewer plant with all the I&I that goes into it. If $1 million is holding it back of doing Park Street, it's gonna hurt the sewer plant.
No, there's no doubt.
I just was reminded.
Park Street is important, I think you've made that clear, and if that one, and the engineers have made it clear. This has got thinness on here, which, I mean, driving down the road, it's obvious, I mean, even the road is in tough shape, so you can't imagine what is going on underneath it.
Yeah, but the road is gonna be taken care of by the developer.
Oh, they're doing thinness?
Yeah,
And that's part of it, they have to dig it up to put in new water and sewer systems.
yeah,
Oh, they haven't done that, okay.
yeah, they're gonna do that, so the idea was, it's not, we should probably upgrade the water pipe. Since they're putting,
Cause it's already had 7 breaks on
yeah,
Right,
yeah, so that's what that's all about.
okay.
And man, I kinda covered that
Yeah.
in there, so,
I just-
yeah,
it.
no, we appreciate that.
But.
Okay, Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
So, yeah, this was, cause you were talking about the I&I, which is the infiltration that gets in water going to the sewer.
Correct.
Right? So when you say that puts the stress on the sewer, on the water processing system, like, what is that stress? Cause I'll be honest, I was sitting in the back of my head and I'm like, well, these water mains aren't really popping on Park Street. What is the urgency? I knew it was the infiltration, but is that really an urgency thing? How urgent is it if the water mains aren't?
it's not water, it's sewer.
Well,
I understand, but if the water mains are still in good shape and it's just the sewer,
They're not.
you really have to do it.
Oh, I see what you're saying,
There's been plenty of breaks and there's areas that you can't really dig up the sewer without digging up the water, which is why this is kind of come about, but on wetter months, you can definitely tell. Cause it measures it, so Evan, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're around 0.5 million gallons. And then on wetter months, we're up to 0.72 million gallons. Evan, is that correct?
Yeah, I think, and going back a couple years when groundwater was high and we had a lot of wet years, you have sanitary pipe that's just sitting in groundwater and leaking that in. So when you're really dry, you're down 200,000-300,000 gallons a day, and when you're really wet, you're processing sometimes up to 1 million gallons a day. So like a 5x peaking factor on what the sewer plant processes.
And
So what that means for the stuff that we'll talk about on the plan is bigger pipes, bigger pumps, anything that has to convey water has to get bigger to account for the I&I that the village sees.
And that's been stated on almost all the reports that we get, that we have too much clear water. So I,
They haven't fined us yet.
well, are we really gonna wait for that? No, and it hurts our capacity. If you got all that water going in there, that's less sewer that can go in there.
How much overhead capacity do it? I mean, I'm just asking the question, how much overhead capacity do it? I mean,
Well, if 44 is it, we're probably pretty close to being over on that. We're trying the DNR to assess our capacity.
Yeah, if we're at 4,400 people with 0.5 million gallons per day, and we can fix Park Street and have Mark Stone come in and still stay around that 0.5, I think that's huge. You get it? You're kind of off.
no, I definitely do. I'm just- I don't know, I was just asking like, what is it an absolute requirement, like until, but it sounds sort of like it is, but.
I would say it's
No.
probably the top priority for our sewer utility when you're looking at piping. And aren't they clay pipes
They
still?
are original. I don't know the time frame. I think it's the 60s, but yeah, they're play.
So when you have that bump up of like 200,000 clear gallons in a month, what sort of cost does that put on this sewer plant? Even, I mean, it's not dirty water, it still needs to be processed, but is it an incredible cost to it then? Or is that a relatively just pass through to the creek without?
Definitely doesn't just pass through the creek, but I'm gonna more defer to Evan to answer that question.
Yeah, it's certainly a loaded question, right? What the cost of treating? Generally, we're looking at anywhere from $1 to $10 per 1,000 gallons treated. And I know that's a huge range. You guys are probably in that $3 to $5 per 1,000 gallons. So when you look at that on a daily basis where you've got high groundwater and you're treating that every day, that's more electricity to run the pumps longer, at a higher speed. It's more electricity to run the aerators because you don't do treatment as effectively. So you actually have had issues with effluent quality during wet weather as well. So it's kind of a cascading effect, but the textbooks are generally in that $2 to $5 per 1,000 gallons of I&I. And then of course that's per day times 365. So you can really start to add up in a hurry.
Yeah, $500 a day.
Anybody else have any questions on that?
Okay, thank you.
It does. We'll go on to discussion regarding TID closure. You want to take this or?
I can start.
All right.
Yep, so as early as last year, we were really hopeful that 2027 we'd be able to close the TID. We will have, enough cash to cover all of our outstanding liabilities, which is what prompts the TID closure. So I do believe we are still estimating that that will be the case. We do have our joint review board in September. I think it's the same day as board review.
Yeah.
In the morning.
I think so.
Something. And so then Ellers will report on the health of the TID and what that looks like going forward or for next year. And then the process is if we think we can close in 2027, we have to pass a resolution by April 15th of next year. To let the Department of Revenue know that we're closing it. And then we have to hire Johnson Block to do a final audit of the TID. So once that's complete, that will determine how much cash is left over, and then that gets split between us, the school district, the county, and the tech school. It's kind of like a one-time cash, like here you go. And so that's what we were trying to decide, if we would get that cash payment in late 27, or if that actually won't come till 2028. It's just a timing thing. And then also if we are able to close the TID in 2027, we get a levy limit adjustment that is applicable for the 2028 budget. And I trying to calculate how much that will be. Minimum 100,000, I think is kind of where we're at.
Really? You have it at 100, I have it over 200.
It's a minimum.
Oh.
Well, so I did, the way the law read it,
Yeah.
reading it, I interpreted it one way, and then there was like an AI calculation that did it a different way, and they're very different, so I'm like.
Was one of them near
conservative.
200,000 or above?
It was like 300.
Yeah, okay, I had 280.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, I emailed the Department of Revenue, my spreadsheet, and I said, can you tell me which one of these is like the correct, like, which one am I thinking about, right? And I got this reply back, well, they're changing some laws, and so we don't really know, and they wouldn't even, they've been less than helpful with me lately. Even today I got added something else. So we won't give me a clear answer on anything. So just that we know, we are still hopeful that we can close next year. There'll be a one-time cash payment. Again, I'm thinking at least 100,000. And then that levy limit adjustment to follow. So that should really help us, like Jay, in his budget memo, it said we, look to hire another police officer, and that would definitely help on that. So.
In 2020.
Yeah, we'll have to push it.
Yeah.
We won't be able to do it in 2027.
At least at the beginning of the year, I don't know if we wanna, next year.
Yeah, I guess we can talk about it,
Like
yeah,
if we figure out we'll get this money in September or October, we can always say, hey, let's
yeah,
hire
yeah.
someone at the end of the year. So,
So
something to think about.
how much so we're one-time cash payment, anywhere between 1 and 300,000.
No, that's.
No.
Oh, that's the levy.
That's one.
Yeah, I had it at 128,
The one time.
One.
and that's using us at 37%.
Mine was right around there too, yeah.
Yeah,
So this is you just estimating what the TID is gonna bring in and for the 2027 budget, right? And how much that's gonna be over its outstanding. Well, liability, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think that whole bucket, like, would be left in the TID fund after it's paid for getting $100,000?
I had it around 350, 360,000.
So we get, what, 25 or 20, whatever. our
37%.
Is that what we're, I don't.
That's
I
the
don't know
number
what
I
our
have.
percentage of our pie is or whatever.
I think you have to use the number that when the TID was formed, and I believe we were at 37% at that time.
Oh, you use the percentage of, when you form.
That's when you read that state statute, it's extremely difficult to follow,
So
but
So
that-
it isn't the percentage when the money was
Hmm?
collected.
no, not to my knowledge. To my knowledge, it's when you started is when you get the percentages that they use.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Now, again, we're all gonna learn on it. I'm a little disappointed in the sense that this thing has been part of our audits for every year that it's been in existence, to have to go and have the same company do what they've already done. Just seems like a waste of money,
Oh, they have to do that separate.
Secondary.
audit
Yeah.
At the beginning.
because we already, is part of our audit, if you read in our audit, so. Maybe it'll be really easy and quick for them, I don't know, but I'm sure we're gonna pay. And then for the IRS, we've been taking in that money to pay off the debt. So I'm trying to figure out why they would change it. That's where I'm trying to follow this whole law thing. I mean, again, every year we get that report on the TID that goes to the to the state revenue. And it shows the increase in value and what we're taxing. So why would that change?
What's changing? I don't understand.
Well, we have to let the Department of Revenue decide if that was been right the last 12 years.
Even though we're sending it to them, they have to do their review as well.
Yeah. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. But it is what it is. So that, to me, it was disappointing, but I wanted to let you guys all know where it is, and we'll have. Like I say, the 16th we'll know, so the second meeting in September, we'll brief everybody and we'll probably have a better timeline. Go ahead, Cameron.
The slide you have in here on the equalized value limit, cannot exceed 12%. In 2019, we're at 8.12%.
So this is an old report,
I was gonna say,
Um,
wouldn't that
when did we do
be,
this, like
I mean,
2020 or?
we've gotta be north of 12%. No,
No,
This is just an old report that I had done. It's on our website, so we just threw it in here.
how are we
It's-
not north of 12% since 20?
because we're over 3 million and that's worth 30 million. So that'd be 10%. That's how I did it in my head real quick.
We're at 3 million.
I had said with removing of the TID at, I thought $3 million. Well, I mean, I'm sorry, yeah, I'm doing dollars, never mind. I'd have to go back and see, but the assessed value, you can look
I'm
at
just,
the
I'm just
equalized
talking
value.
about equalized value. here.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
has to be way north of 12%, no?
no, if it's not 12% for taxes, it's not gonna be for equalized value, I wouldn't think.
But it was, I guess, it was 8.12% in 2019, if that's right, right?
Right? So it's probably gone down from there
So
because of
something we've added on. it.
all these houses and stuff that are outside the TID. What have we added?
Oh, okay, yeah,
So,
okay,
so
yeah.
our external equalized value
Yeah.
going up into TID is.
I was thinking the whole village, I'm like, we've added a whole bunch of houses.
Yeah, no, but that doesn't
I-
count.
Yeah,
Equalized value of the village is like $500 million.
Yeah,
it's, yeah, it's
Yeah.
not. little-
I did the
They're not
numbers
little,
part.
but that's the main street area.
Yeah, as we keep adding, that's driving the.
Got it, yep.
The
Yep.
denominator's getting bigger, so.
Yep.
the Top isn't growing so much.
No, that's exactly right. So that's all I wanted, again, keep that in mind. We're gonna be throwing a lot of numbers at you this year. Does anybody else have any questions on that? All right, any future agenda item?
I'll just say, I'm working on an update to our streetlight policy. Middleton passed an ordinance and we changed some stuff. I think it's time for us to update ours to kind of match theirs. What they're doing.
And you'll send that to plan and sustainability?
I'm planning on going to sustainability next.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Yep.
All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same. Thank you.